and good day. My name is Jürgen Steinmetz from eTurboNews, and this is a breaking news update. For more news updates and shows, please go to youtube.com/travel news group. youtube.com/travel news group. Here's our update.
Super Green Pass. Latest COVID-19 rules in Italy. The government of Italy has just published questions and answers on the use of the enhanced green card, otherwise being referred to as the Super Green Pass. From December 6, 2021 to January 15, 2022, citizens must have a strengthened green pass, i.e., a vaccination or healing green pass, designated in the white area to access shows, sporting events, indoor catering, parties, discos, and public ceremonies. This includes the white, yellow, and orange areas for those that are or are not allowed with the basic green PASS also buffer or without green certification. Those who already have an Italy Green Pass for vaccination or recovery do not need to download a new certification. It will be the Verification C19 app used to recognize its validity. Movements. Public or private scheduled means of transport. Planes, trains, ships and ferries, buses and scheduled coaches that connect more than 2 regions, buses and coaches used for rental services with driver, vehicles used in local or regional public transport services. Regardless of the color of the region, the use of the Green Pass is always mandatory, which can be either basic vaccination, healing, swab, or REINFORCED vaccination and healing. Non-scheduled public transport vehicles. Taxis and cars with up to 9 seats, including the drivers, used as a rental service with driver, with the exception of those in additional local public transport SERVICES to which the regulations relating to use of local public transport lines. Regardless of the color of the region, it is possible to use non-scheduled public transport, even without a green pass. Movements with your own vehicle within your municipality. Regardless of the color of the region, they are always allowed regardless of the possession of the green pass. Travel by own vehicle to other municipalities in the same region. In the white and yellow areas, they are always allowed regardless of possession of the green pass. In the orange zone, on the other hand, they are allowed without a green pass only for work, necessity, health or for services that are not suspended but not available in their own municipality. The same rule applies to travel with your own vehicle to other regions' autonomous provinces. School transport dedicated exclusively to children under 12 school buses. They are always allowed regardless of the color of the region and possession of the green pass. No 4th dose, but an annual recall will be needed, says the director of Spallanzani. On the vaccination obligation, Francesco Vaia argues that we must convince people, not scare them. Science feeds on doubt, tolerance, and empiricism. An annual recall will be necessary with vaccines updated to the variants, exactly as for the anti-influenza. This is explained by the general director and medical director of the Spallanzani Hospital in Rome, Francesco Vaia, in an interview with Il Fatto Daily. So not a real 4th dose. I remain convinced that we have to imagine overcoming the emergency. And, as for the flu, do an annual booster with vaccines that are however updated to the variants. As for Omicron, the data coming from South Africa do not justify alarmism, explained Vaia. The annual vaccination must not be a drama and we must adopt measures that make families or allies, not scare them, he stressed with a smile and common sense. We will get out of it, here we are. On the vaccination obligation, Vaia argues the data are incontrovertible. Infected, deaths, hospitalizations, especially the serious ones, are absolutely far below the same period last year, and this is due to the correct attitude of the citizens and the vaccine. Facilities in the ski areas. Purchase of ski passes that also allow non-exclusive access to cable cars, gondola lifts and chairlifts when used with the closing of the screen domes. In the white and yellow areas they are not allowed without a green pass. In the orange zone, however, it is necessary to have the Super Green Pass. Purchase of ski passes for the exclusive use of ski lifts other than those mentioned above, cable cars, gondolas and chair lifts, if used with the closing of the screen domes, in the white and yellow areas they are always allowed regardless of possession of the green pass. In the orange zone, however, the Super Green Pass is required. Working activity. Access to the workplace for public and private workers except for public workers for whom vaccination is mandatory. Regardless of the color of the area, it is necessary to use the Green Pass, sufficient in its basic version. The same goes for access to canteens for public workers. Access to exercises and offices. Access to personal services, access to shops outside of shopping centers, access to shops and shopping centers on weekdays excluding pre-holidays. Always allowed regardless of the color of the area and regardless of possession of the green pass. Access to shops and shopping centers on holidays and the day before holidays except food, newsstands, bookstores, pharmacies, tobacconists. In the white and yellow areas they are always allowed regardless of possession of the green pass, while in the orange area, it is necessary to have the super green pass. Access to public offices to use services. Always allowed regardless of the color of the area and possession of the green pass. Students of schools and universities. Students of high schools and technical institutes, regardless of the color of the area, it is not necessary to have a green pass. University students. Regardless of the color of the area, it is necessary to have the green pass, sufficient in its basic version. Health and social healthcare. Visitor access to health, social health, residential, social welfare and hospice facilities. Bars and restaurants except those in accommodation structures. Consumption at the counter. Consumption at the table outdoors. Consumption at the table indoors. Regardless of the color of the area, the possession of the super green pass is required. Accommodation structures including the bars and restaurants of the structure. Accommodation. Catering service not reserved for guests of the outdoor accommodation facility. Catering service not reserved for guests of the indoor accommodation facility. Regardless of the color of the area, a super green pass is required. In the white and yellow area, always allowed regardless of possession of the green pass. In the orange zone, however, it is necessary to have a super green pass. Catering service reserved exclusively for guests of the accommodation facility both outdoors and indoors. Regardless of the color of the area, it is necessary to have the green pass, sufficient in its basic version. Sports activities in public or private structures. Outdoor sports or motor activities, also in picnic areas and public parks. Always allowed regardless of the color of the region and possession of the green pass. Indoor sports or physical activity gyms, swimming pools, swimming centers. Outdoor sports or physical activity swimming pools and swimming centers. In the white and yellow area, always allowed regardless of possession of the green pass. In the orange zone it is necessary to use the super green pass. Rehabilitation and therapeutic activities included in the essential levels of ASSISTANCELEA, outdoors and indoors, always allowed regardless of the color of the region and possession of the green pass. Access to the changing rooms. In the white and yellow areas it is necessary to have a green pass, sufficient in its basic version. In the orange zone it is necessary to use the super green pass. Team sports and sporting activities in indoor sports centers and clubs. In the white and yellow areas it is necessary to have a green pass, sufficient in its basic version. In the orange zone it is necessary to use the super green pass. Team sports and sporting activities in outdoor sports centers and clubs. Always allowed regardless of the color of the region and possession of the green pass. Indoor contact sports. In the white and yellow areas it is necessary to have a green pass, sufficient in its basic version. In the orange zone it is necessary to use the super green pass. Outdoor contact sports. In the white and yellow area, always allowed regardless of possession of the green pass. In the area it is instead necessary to use the super green pass. Activities and cultural events. Access to shows open to the public in theatrical halls, concert halls, cinemas, entertainment and live music venues and other venues with 100% capacity indoors. Regardless of the color of the area, possession is required of the super green pass. Access to indoor exhibitions, museums and other places of culture. In the white and yellow zone it is necessary to have a green pass, sufficient in its basic version. In the orange zone it is necessary to use the super green pass. Sport events. Access to sporting events and competitions in stadiums and sports halls capacity of 60% indoors and 75% outdoors. Regardless of the color of the area, a super green pass is required. Player recreational activities. Access to dance halls and discos. Regardless of the color of the area, you must have a super green pass. parties not resulting from civil and religious ceremonies, regardless of the color of the area, the possession of the Super Green Pass is required. Consequent holidays.
Thank you for listening to our news update. There's more on youtube.com/travel news group, or you can read us, of course, in going to our news portal at eTurboNews.com or travelnews.online.